How did checking my son's browser history save his entire school? The browser history loaded slowly, line by line, each entry worse than the last. I stood frozen in my kitchen staring at my son's laptop screen, while my coffee went cold on the counter beside me. Ethan was supposed to be at Malcolm's house working on chemistry homework, but the search terms filling his browser told a different story entirely. Jefferson High School blueprints, school security camera blind spots, average police response time active shooter, how to bypass metal detectors. My 16-year-old son had been researching how to attack his own school, and I had approximately 30 seconds before my brain fully processed what that meant, and my body started shaking so hard I couldn't stand anymore. I wasn't snooping, not initially. Ethan's laptop screen had cracked 3 days earlier when he dropped it rushing to basketball practice, and I'd finally ordered a replacement part that Sunday afternoon. I needed his Amazon login information, something teenagers never remember, so I opened his Dell sitting on the kitchen table while he was out. The laptop woke immediately because he'd disabled password protection months ago, claiming it slowed him down. His desktop showed our family photo from Cape Cod last summer, back when we were whole, before his father left, before divorce papers, before Ethan stopped talking to me about anything real. Chrome opened to his last viewed tab, not Amazon or YouTube or social media, but detailed architectural blueprints of Jefferson High School spread across the screen. Every hallway mapped precisely, every classroom labeled, every exit marked in red. I scrolled down finding more blueprints from different angles, close-ups of the cafeteria and gymnasium and main office, all downloaded from county building records 2 weeks prior at 11:47 p.m. on a Wednesday, long after I'd gone to bed thinking he was finishing homework. My hands trembled on the trackpad as I clicked the browser history icon, and the drop-down list that appeared made something cold and terrible settle into my chest like ice water filling my lungs. 3 weeks of searches, dozens of entries, each one more horrifying than the previous. How long does lockdown procedure take Jefferson High? Difference between soft lockdown and full evacuation. How to disable fire alarm system. Where do students gather during emergency? School resource officer weapon type. The timestamps showed most searches happened late at night between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. Hours when I slept soundly believing my son was safe in his room doing normal teenage things. Instead, he'd been meticulously researching how to attack his school, planning something unspeakable. And I'd missed every single warning sign while I was busy drowning in my own problems after the divorce. My phone sat on the counter 3 feet away, but I couldn't make myself move toward it yet because calling 911 meant admitting my son was planning mass violence, meant destroying whatever remained of our family, meant accepting I'd failed so completely as a mother that my child had become someone capable of this. The rational part of my brain screamed to call police immediately, but the maternal part that had nursed him through fevers and driven him to soccer practice and helped with homework for 16 years couldn't reconcile this evidence with the boy I knew. Ethan was quiet and withdrawn lately. Yes, especially since his father left. But withdrawn didn't mean murderous, sad didn't mean dangerous, right? I forced myself to keep reading, scrolling through more browser history, looking for something that would make this make sense or prove I was misunderstanding everything. Instead, I found worse. How to acquire weapons without background check. Dark web firearms vendors, 3D printed gun designs, homemade explosive materials, household items. My vision blurred with tears, but I kept scrolling because I needed to know everything before I made the call that would end Ethan's life as he knew it. The searches went back further than 3 weeks. They started almost 2 months ago, right after Christmas break, beginning with innocent-seeming terms like school security procedures that gradually escalated into something monstrous. Then I found the folder, saved right on his desktop, labeled simply Project, in plain text, sitting there between his homework folders and game files like it was nothing unusual. My cursor hovered over it for long seconds before I could force myself to click. The folder opened, revealing dozens of files, screenshots of text conversations, downloaded images, Word documents with names I recognized. My breath caught when I saw Malcolm's name at the top of one document, Ethan's best friend since middle school, the kid currently hosting my son at his house for their supposed chemistry project, but there were other names too, kids I'd never heard of, kids Ethan had never mentioned. I opened the first Word document, a file titled Timeline Docs, last modified yesterday at 10:23 p.m. The contents made my hands shake so violently I almost dropped the laptop. It wasn't Ethan's plan. It was someone else's plan that Ethan had been documenting, copying, saving as evidence. The document outlined an attack scheduled for this coming Friday during lunch period when the cafeteria would be most crowded, multiple shooters positioned at different exits, homemade explosives in bathroom stalls set on timers. Full story on my channel and linked below.